Boker Tov and good morning on this lovely Sunday morning. It's wonderful to see the sunshine outside. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. I appreciate seeing the Boker Tov from everyone. And we're just getting ready to continue the kind of Sinai streams that we have each day, an opportunity to be together rather than formal Hebrew davening, as some people have asked about. Well, Boker Tov, and welcome to a new week. Welcome to Sinai Streams on May 3rd, Temple Sinai of Toronto's daily opportunity for us to connect, reflect, and remember. Today, as we start a new week, we turn to the 13th of the 13 intermediate blessings that we find in the center of the Amidah, right? The structure of our core prayer element called Amidah, standing, or tefillah, merely prayer, as if that's mere, is three introductory brachot at the beginning that could be generally described as acknowledgement and praise. Three prayers at the end that could be generally described as gratitude and peace, because all of our prayer elements end with a prayer for shalom, for wholeness and peace. And in between those 13 blessings that give us an opportunity to express who we are, to express our own hopes, our own needs. And this morning, as we turn to the last of them, we do so finding it the right challenge that, in fact, the last of the intermediate blessings is a prayer for prayer. That, as I regularly remind myself and others, that our prayer book is not called a prayer book, that our prayer book is called Sidur, which same root as the word Seder for the Passover Seder, which means order. It is an order of communal liturgy, being aware that the power of community, the opportunity and what it means to offer our prayers even individually, but to do that together, is something that is so elemental to our tradition that the strength of the community is needed for us to be able to find our own voices. And it is interesting that in that sense, it is a unified voice that's talked about in this prayer that begins with the words Shema Kolenu. Again, as usual, on the right side of your screen, you see a traditional version of the prayer, and on the left side, our Temple Sinai creative version of the prayer. And both of them start with those powerful words, Shema Kolenu, hear our voice. It talks about we, about us as a group, as a community, as those we have linked ourselves to, but ask God to listen to kol, to the sound, to the voice made not just by one of us, but by all of us. that this prayer about prayer is really about our opportunity and our tradition's vision of prayer as us being in some kind of divine chorus or choir. That while each of us is making our own sounds, that the power of that combined spiritual harmony is a lot of what prayer is really about. And on the right side of your screen, we really find something more traditional that says, hear our prayer. That says we're offering tefillot v'tachanunim, we're offering prayers and desires, hear us. And for some people, that language is very powerful, and for others, very challenging. It is interesting that even in this prayer in the more traditional formulation, the word shomea, about hearing, comes up 3 times. The root more than that, but it calls upon God as shomea tefillah, as the one who hears prayer. And yet, we're aware in our tradition that our ability to say, it's not as if God has ears. God is so different and beyond our imagining that the notion of hearing and listening, we're not only talking about God being in relationship with us, something that our tradition deals with in a profound way. We're also talking about that listening is a key to prayer. Not merely a listening that might happen where the divine is listening to us, but that, as is expressed more on the left side of the page, that in order for God to hear our voice, we have to find it first. We have to actually be still for a moment and be able to listen to our own inner life and hear our own gratitude, our own longings, our own sense of who we are. That if we can't say, wow, I know what I'm doing in my life, where I'm at, what I need and what I want, then how could we possibly express it even to another person, let alone in the presence of holiness, in the presence of the divine? The prayer on the left is a broader combination. It includes the traditional words of prayer on the right, references that come likewise from the prophetic tradition, and also words of the modern Israeli poet Pinchas Sadeh, that looking for a way to tell us that in order to be aware, in order to live a life that's engaged in a meaningful and spiritual way, we need not only to open our eyes, we have to also see. We have to not only open our ears, but really listen to ourselves, to the people in our life, to understand our situation and to be present in our life and to ourselves. That our ability to do that is what puts us in a position to pray. As it says at the bottom of the note on the left to our modern prayer, prayer is a moment of fully realized human awareness. That if we cannot be present in ourselves and to ourselves, prayer is a journey that is too far for us. And there's no question that the idea of prayer is challenging. I think that's probably why our tradition concludes this whole structured liturgy of prayer with a moment of prayer, with a moment where it says, even as I look in my own personal Siddur that I've used for many years, even before creating the Temple Sinai Siddur, it includes a number of things at this point in our service. First of all, it's an opportunity for prayers one might have missed, or prayers that just didn't come out or one wasn't able to focus on, to go back and to make sure that what we offer is in fact whole, that it represents us and this real moment in our lives. And interestingly enough, this very traditionalist prayer book, whose liturgy I use in addition to our temple one for myself personally, contains a number of elements that it expects and wants us to have in our prayer book. It includes a moment where if one is taking on a fast. There's a long tradition of fasting, which is not as prevalent in our tradition today. But at the same time, when one is taking on part of a communal or personal fast, sort of needing to feel even a greater degree a connection to that which is beyond just the physical, one offers the Anenu prayer that announces the fast here, that it leaves, even though there's already been a prayer for healing, that it offers an opportunity, a moment for a prayer for one who is ill, and a prayer every day for parnasa. Parnasa, as they say in Yiddish, for our physical and emotional and personal livelihood, for our ability to have the basics we need, because if we don't have our basics needs met, we can't consider that which is deeper, that which is beyond this moment. And I think in a comment that I find in this particular prayer book, it quotes the Chayei Adam, a famous commentary, and after mentioning a number of things that one might pray about in this last moment of prayer, it says, and one should pray about whatever that person is in need of and aware of. And if the Hebrew language gets in the way, that the person should pray in any language that that person understands, as long as it comes from that person's heart within. Mikilot halev, that literally from the walls of our heart. That's why I think that prayer is so much not about some mystical, distant knowledge, but about our willingness to take on the challenge day after day to truly know ourselves. And in doing so, to know what we're grateful for, what we need, what we want, and therefore to have, with the strength of the community, an opportunity to express it. Prayer is a challenging topic. But it is an ongoing challenge for each of us. And during this time, to make it meaningful, we have also focused on particular prayers, our prayer for those in need of healing and our prayers of memory. And so it's to those additional prayers that we now turn. Our Mishuberach Lacholim, our prayer for those who are ill, is of course not only for those who are ill, it's for all those who make up that structure of healing and caring, as well as sustenance that enables us to continue in difficult times. And so at the moment, we hold in our hearts, and I'm thinking of members of our family and community, members of our Temple Sinai community, and those more widely who are in need of strength and healing, who are isolated, ill, or on the front lines there for us. And for all of them and so many more, we turn to these words of refuah. Mishuberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel v'yiraped kol makotenu yiratzon melfanech Adonai Eloheinu v'chalimam l'rapotam v'yishlach lanu mehera refuah shlema v'ateret shalom v'nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom. And together we say, Amen. And we take a moment now as we remember, recalling our loved ones who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the last 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Lorne Barsky, Hannah Glatter, Ruth Kelman, Marcia Mason, Pauline Milrad. And we also remember all victims of terror, including the victims of the mass shooting in Nova Scotia. And on your site on this day, on the 9th day of the month of Iyar, the 3rd day of our month of May, on their yard site, on the anniversary of their deaths, we remember Erwin Arshinoff, Stella Bergstein, Bill Edelstein, Albert Luftman, Lillian Winter. Zichronam Livracha, May their memories be a sweet and enduring blessing to us, as together we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope in the Kaddish Yatom. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, be'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala ubizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha breichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ve'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, ve'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, amen. Go out there and make it a great day. Enjoy this beautiful day. So much to be grateful for.